Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin. You're listening to the Funnel Down Defense Podcast. And now here's your host, Steve Collins. Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Funnel Down Defense Podcast. So excited you decided to join us today. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, teachhoops.com, for coaches who want to get better. It is the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It doesn't matter if you're youth coach, high school coach, college coach. If you're looking for a little bit of everything, it is there for you. Go over and check it out. Also, if you want to deep dive into the Funnel Down Defense, you can type in funneldowndefense.com, or you can link on the in the show notes, and it will be there for you. Have a great day. Back later, I can send it to you. All right.
Sounds
so
good.
Questions.
Yeah. Well, number one, did you ever get that huddle link that I sent? I know you had trouble with the first one.
I did. And I checked. I haven't checked the new one, I'm going to be totally brutally honest. So I haven't looked at that one yet. I will.
Fine.
Yes. It's in my inbox. So if it's in
Sounds
my inbox.
good. I told my staff already, go ahead. I got a month to start watching the film from last year and go ahead and see how we can beat what they think that we can do to beat them. So that'll be good to kind of play around with that and get some.
Yeah, we have our first coaches meeting Sunday. Yes, this Sunday. So we're starting to kind of, we're like 70 some days because we start in the middle of November. So
we start middle of November too.
So it's starting to rev up. I don't want to burn them out, but it's kind of all right. We got to slowly start revving up. And
that's good. So you sent me the funnel down. We're definitely going to incorporate that. Last time we talked about I'd come from a program as an assistant where we were running 100% zone, and my assistant coach has really challenged me, and then listening to your podcast has really challenged me, and I know that we need more than one thing. So
you do, because if people just get you, you're done. That's the problem. Is you don't have enough bullets in your thing at that point. Yeah,
that's right. So we're definitely gonna the funnel down really matches what we're trying to do in our zone. So not much changes. The first thing. So like if the team was to drive the short corner, and let's say you didn't get a good trap, and they end up skipping it to either the opposite 45 or the corner. How are you?
Okay, so the opposite corner is not possible.
Yeah, because you better just make a good trap.
No, it's not possible because of the backboard.
Okay.
So
what if they try to go out of bounds and throw it?
If they go out of bounds, good. Okay, so again, we're talking percentages here. The number of kids that can do that and do it effectively.
Sure.
5%.
You got to really rep that out.
And you got to rep that. Now, I've had one team in 33 years that repped it and got good at it. We still beat them. But you got to get really good at that. Okay.
Okay, good.
So I don't really worry about that. And if the team does that, there's some counters I can give you on that. But now,
what are your, like, if they skip it to that opposite 45, somehow they get it to the opposite side, because inevitably it'll happen at one point, right? I mean, how are you trying to take? What are you telling your kids?
We're taking away the 3 at that point.
Yeah, so you're just telling them, do whatever you have to do to get them off.
Get them off that line. So again, we're funneling on the other side then. So we're going to let them go, and we're going to let them drive at that point. But we're not going to. Yeah, we do not. So we run it. So let's say let's say they drive the right side of the court. So if you can visualize this, and they go to that short corner, and for somehow they have perfect footwork and they pivot 45 degrees and they skip it all the way over, and we don't get hands and all that, then we're going to run. Let's assume it's a right-handed shooter. We're running at that right ear and that right hand because we want to take it away. And when we do that, that's perfect. To be honest with you, that's why I like funnel down. I like funneling on both sides, because all of a sudden, yes, they did a counter and we didn't do something right. But now they're on the right side. Yeah. Now they're on the left side, which should be mathematically better for us. So if it's the other way, okay, they're probably a little bit, most kids are a little bit faster going to their right. Sure. But again, we're just running. So the key is to run off that three. That is like, we're not giving up threes. And what's going to happen is you're going to give some mid ranges on something like that. But again, my theory is mid-rangers are not what they were when I played.
No, they're not working on that stuff anymore.
And they're not working on it. And to be honest with you,
do you guys work on a mid-range? Offensively, do you guys work on a mid-range?
We do. You know how we do it? We do it because we run funnel at practice. So all of a sudden it's forcing us to take some of those. And to be honest with you, on that 45-degree pivot skip, you know what you can get a lot of? Charges. Yeah, that's what I tell them. I said, that's money ball time, right? As long as we run them off the three, the next guy over is going to be able to take the charge. Because what happens is they see it, you run them off the three, and they go, oh, crap, the basket's there. And then all of a sudden, one of your guys steps in, boop. And it's like, because it's like
our kids are pretty good at taking charges. They
so
really
that's what that. So the learn, if I can use teaching speak, the learning target at that point is to take them off the three. That's your only responsibility. Do not let them have a three. Do not, because as soon as they drive and as soon as they move, then it allows everyone else to our guys aren't just standing on the other side of the court. They're reacting too. And that gives that millisecond to come over to the other side.
Okay. That's good. So that's kind of what we're working on in skill development.
And the short, I mean, telling you, if you get them deep enough in that short corner, that opposite corner,
it's trouble.
Oh, you go try to do that. That is hard. Like NBA teams can't even do that.
What kind of techniques are you teaching in that short corner? I mean, how are you teaching a really effective trap? I know I've heard you say on your podcast you really got to go on that first dribble, right?
You do. And you got to be aggressive on it. You're not going to be perfect on it. Are there times they're going to be able to turn back to the middle? Absolutely. When you're first teaching it to them. But the thing is, what we teach them is, if we get that trap, we're scoring. Like I feed the offense off the defense, because that trap, a bad pass is normally going to be made if it's a decent trap, because they are toast at that point. Now, what's going to happen is they stop going there, which is great. So you're not going to score then at that point. Or they'll start shooting that mid-ranger with us coming at them, which again is not
a tough shot.
Tough shot. It's a tough.
What are you telling your kids on the trap? When you get a good trap, are you telling them just keep those hands up, make them make a bad play?
And then we work on interchanging those legs so they can't bust through, because good ones are going to try to bust through. And then they don't foul. Whenever you trap, you should never foul. That's just like you're giving something away. But don't foul the shooter, especially, because what's going to happen, I'll tell you what happens is they get to that short corner, they're lost, and then they try to create contact. Like the offense tries to create contact at that point, because they don't have much they can do. And I never worry about behind, because again, think about, you're in the short corner. What's the probability you're going to pass behind you? Is virtually zero. Someone opened the door.
He's waving at you.
Someone napping.
That's just my son's napping in the other room, so I had to go to the far end of the house. So. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry if I'm too loud. I remember never wake a baby.
No, we're not too loud. No, she was going to come back here and shower, but she's going to wait. So, so number two, when the ball is, let's say, either at the top of the key, if they're running a 5-out, or if it's in that, let's say, the right slot, where is your guy on the backside corner? Like, let's say, where's he at defensively? Are you telling him to be outside the paint? Because, you don't want that ball to be stuck on that side. Like, if the ball's on the right wing, you don't want that ball being skipped to the left side, correct?
It's enough. It's a cat and mouse. It's like playing secondary, because I have a bunch of football guys. I tell them you got to play a little bit of cat and mouse with that.
Yeah.
If it's in the middle of the court, then the top guy's got to put pressure on it and push him aside.
Yeah.
So ideally we want them, again, depends. It comes into our scout. Most teams don't like the left, but if we can push them left, we'd rather do that. But again, I'm a stats teacher, and I realize that that's only going to happen half the time. So that's why we do it both sides. But So
really working on, as the ball's in the air, you got
it. It is. And it's all the breakdowns, all those breakdown drills are that I sent you, those breakdown drills.
The small sided game.
Yeah, it's all that stuff that just kind of teaches them slowly. And then if they're skipping it, that's again, I teach my guys, that's money ball time. Like, go for it. Like, here you go. Because if you're watching eyes and you see it, and what's going to happen is a team of 15, you got 1 or 2 kids that tend to always be really good at that.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out, you put them in the right spots. If you're running like it's a steal spot in our 2-2-1 or a diamond and 1 that we've run. It's that diamond and 1. It's the back diamond guy tends to be my guy. Like the guy.
We run that too. And
he's the guy that can just, it's a sense that you just like, he just knows, like all my great teams. Yeah. They can sense it. Like,
I think our kids can be pretty good at that. With our zone that we run, like, we're begging our wings and our 2-3 to play high and wide. So like, even when the ball's on the right wing, they should never be in the paint. They should be right outside that. So that way they can skip and because then if the ball does skip, their job is to take away the corner. So,
right.
So,
and they're going to try to go to that corner, and they're going to try to get shots in that corner. Again, either corner, we're running them off and letting them go baseline. So again, it's done a lot of things for us, but it's caused turnovers, it's caused tempo. It's also lowered the number of threes because we emphasize running off that 3 so much. Do we give up do we give up other things? Any defense does that.
Yeah.
But I think it revs the boys more. And then when we play normal man or we play something else, we run off 3s better there. I think there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
I've never been able to prove it, but I think just because when we practice funnel, they just get so good at running. They just know that I just can't handle when someone gets an open 3. Like, I just
yeah.
Let them put it on the floor. Let them put it on the floor.
And that's our pet peeve is there's no chance that's happening.
And to be honest with you, the better teams will put it on the floor, and the not as good teams will try to shoot the 3 because they don't have the skill set that, oh God, this is an open, I can go. They just don't have that skill set. So there's more bad 3s taken from the bad teams, to be honest, because we're in your grill at that point. We're in your space, and they shoot it anyway. And then it's like ping pong ball at that point. Some of those shots.
Yeah, that's good. So when you're fronting the post, we're going to front the post, and me and you talked about this before. If they do run a 4-out look, because I think teams will try and get us with our size. We're not big, but we got kids that'll be in there and battle. So we're going to front the post. If they do drive, let's say the post is ball side, they drive from that corner. Who is going to go trap? Is it going to be the backside help or?
Yeah, it's either the backside help is the first one, but then the second one would be whoever's fronting that post, because that tends to be a bigger body and that slip tends to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying that person's not open, but that other person on the other side can what they tend to do is we don't tend to get as many steals on that, but we get knockouts because it tends to be like I hate using numbers, but it tends to be like a 3 or 4 on the opposite side. And they're quick enough and fast enough that they tend to get a hand on it if they try to make that pass.
Okay. So you're saying backside help.
But again, I'm going to be honest. We only get the front about half the time anyway. So,
Yeah, I know. I'm a little nervous about that.
So we work on not getting the front. Not that they're not trying. But they just can't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like in the ideal world, we're fronting everything.
Yeah.
But in the real world, it's like 50% of the time. So then he's behind. So then it's a little bit easier help wise and trap wise.
Yeah. So, but again, he's not going to go. The backside help goes, correct?
That's why I want to go. Yes.
Yeah. And I am a little nervous about that. Like if they're running a traditional, look, just because I'm worried about us getting.
So when we do our F and Q, when we do our Q&A, excuse me, FRQ. I'm thinking FRQ, free response question from AP Stats. So I'm in the wrong classes. So I'm thinking of when I do the Q&A with the funnel down, because we're about a week away, I'll make sure you get in on that, and that would be a good one. Because then I could draw it up and I'll show you what I mean.
That'll be really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. So I'll write myself a note to do that. Because that will help a little bit. We're actually doing a pretty good job explaining, but I think it's harder when you can't see it. I'm going to try to get
I'm with you. I'm following along. But yeah, anything on the board would be great. Okay. Anything I can get in on. That's good. So in our zone,
it's going to be, the funny part is no one's going to expect this.
Yeah. That's
the thing. You're going to catch off guard.
I'm all about being different. Yeah.
And it's all about the offenses they're going to freak. Now, second round, third round next year, they're going to start tweaking, and then you'll have to counter the tweaks, which is normal. That's what I've had to do. But the first year, it's like, it really messes people up pretty bad.
Yeah, no, that's really good. All right, cool. That's good for defense. So transition offense. Like I'm gonna have pretty much 5 guards, and we're gonna be able to go. We talked last time about trying to maybe get that best shot that we can get in 7-8 seconds if we can, because I got a few guys.
Practice that though. You got to practice that every day, and they love practicing.
Can I get a few tips on maybe some best practices on that?
So whenever we're working on defense, whenever we're working on it, we transition. We transition.
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
In everything we do.
Yeah, I like that.
Everything. Because, again, like I told you, offense, defense, transition, offense, transition, defense. There's only 4 things that happen in basketball, and people work on 2 of them and not 4 of them. So and then I have one of my assistants. We don't normally have the clock going on something like this, but I'll have him, as soon as they get the ball, he starts counting 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So they get a sense, he does it really loud, of how fast, because we just want to go fast because we know we're going to get our first good shot there. And then they know if we hit 7 or 8 and we don't have one, then we're pulling it out and we're running our offense.
Yeah. But is it for you? Are you really establishing roles? Like maybe these 3 guys are really hunting those first 7?
Green. I use green light, red light, yellow light, but I tend to wait. First of all, there's a couple of guys that will have the green light all the time, but I want statistics to be able to say, you look at what you're. So I track practice for the first couple of weeks, which it's a pain in the butt, but luckily I've got a retired assistant coach, and nice. So we'll track it, and then I'll go to them and say, hey, in the last 2 weeks, you shot 22% from 3. Cool it at this point. We'll have I don't do it in front of the team, but it will be a side thing. Like, you show me you can shoot better and practice over the next 2 weeks, and then we'll open it up for you. So I have those discussions on the side. Eventually I have them in front of everyone. Eventually I have 9 games of statistics, and I'll go, Johnny, man, you're yellow. You got to be, you don't have the green light. You have the yellow light. Like, and then there's guys that I've given the red light to, which you better not shoot a 3. Like, I don't want anybody else to know it, but you better not shoot a 3. Like, you're horrible. And those are pretty rare, but
we had to do something like that last year where I was at, and we had to do it at Christmas, and it was tough conversations, but it was, we were shooting like 20-something% as a team. And, when we started doing, are you doing
it? What I tell them is, you can come back, and I got to look at my exact numbers on this, cause it's been 2 years. But I say, you can earn this. Like, you can earn a green light, but you got to come in and show me you can do it. And then
are you doing it by certain drills? Are you doing it like
Mike Neighbors drills? And then I'll do it like I'll say, come in and let's do a test. You should be able to shoot 65-70% from 3 in an empty gym on the gun in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Ready? Let's go. And then, I don't remember the exact numbers I put on it. I got to go back and look at that. But
that's
and then if they do it, great. That means they can, but they won't do it. And then I'll say, come, we can try it tomorrow. Let's try it tomorrow. We can try it every day, all year. You proved me wrong. You proved me wrong mathematically, and I'll let you shoot. I don't care.
Yeah, we did the same thing last year, and it really paid dividends, and we started winning because of it. I mean,
to be honest with you, I don't like having those brutal conversations till around Christmas because I don't have enough data. It's the stats teacher. I don't have enough data to really make an argument because the sample size is too small. But once the Christmas and New Year, January comes around, we all know who we know. We all know, and they all know. To be honest with you, they know. But they need to hear me. They need to hear me say it.
Yeah, and my kids, for the most part, we've already established those roles pretty well. And I got 2 or 3 kids who they haven't said anything. They haven't had bad attitudes, but I know they think they could be in that category, and I want them to be. But they have.
I'll tell you in my post. I know. I tell you in my kind of preseason, postseason last year thing, I had a player that thought he should average like 22. He ain't gonna average 22 in an empty gym ever. So those are the discussion I will have to have with him. It's like, no, that's not going to be your role. It's okay, but that's just not going to be your role. Like, tell grandma and grandpa that's not going to be your role.
Yeah. What are you doing in transition? Are you saying whoever gets the ball, go? And
I got guards. I'm like you. I got a lot of guards. I got maybe 1 or 2 guys I don't really want bringing it up, but we're just going to fill and go.
So now what?
And there's one guy I want to have the ball.
Me too.
So that's the question is like, and I'm still working through that. That's one of the discussions on Sunday. It's like, do we want to, because it's going to slow us if it's only him. That's a second or 2.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that? So I think what we're going to do is do different, maybe variations of our break. Like,
have you seen what Mike Neighbors does at Arkansas?
I mean, I know what Mike Neighbors does, but I haven't seen offensively on a break. No.
His transition. Yeah. Go watch his transition. He wants his point guard bringing it up the floor every time. Cause what he's saying, we've seen him at clinics down here in the South all the time. And he gives out a cell phone number and I text him all the time and get stuff from him. But what he wants to do is he wants his point guard with the ball in her hands, and she's pushing up the floor because she's the best decision maker. Her other kids, what he's doing is he's telling them they do not turn their head before they get to half court. And what he wants them doing is sprinting to the corners and the 45s, and the point guard's pretty much trying to drive and kick. And then they try and score within 7 seconds.
So they don't look back, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because whenever I've struggled, we try to play really fast, and we did. I took over this team who kind of walked the ball to the floor, so we got better at it this summer. But the problem I've always ran into with teaching transition, because the only 2 high school teams I've been around was we took over programs where they played slow. So what happens for us is the kids are running with their heads back and they're not sprinting. So what do you
I love that. I love that. I'm stealing that. I love that. I love the no turn head till half court, because my point guard is the Division I point guard, and he passes the ball so freaking well. The problem is I got to figure out, if I'm the opponent, here's what I'm doing. I'm taking it out of his hands. I'm slowing you down by not letting him get the ball. So I got to figure out how we do that. Because I got other guys who can bring it up.
And that's kind of what I'm bad on, because I really like the concept of whoever gets it, get out and go. Because I feel like all of my guards can handle it. But the problem is I feel like when that happens, we are a little slow. We're turning.
And you probably turn the ball over more.
Probably.
Let me when I mow the lawn this afternoon, let me dwell on this one. Let me dwell on this one, because you and I are very similar boats this year. Let me get back to you on this one.
It's challenging. My one assistant coach, he's been coaching for 20 years, and I'm very fortunate to have him. He challenges me a lot. I asked him, he's like, I just think we need to get out and go and run. And I'm like, well, my point guard, he's going to be a college point guard. He was all district last year as a sophomore. I mean, he is just the
maybe you have, and this is what I've been tossing around. Maybe you have two different on-offs.
Yeah.
Like off is anybody, on is only point guard. Because again, and it could be a green-red like piece of paper on off. Like and normally it's going to be on where the point guard, but all of a sudden, and then that gives your backup point guard and the other kids more. Like I got 3 or 4 kids I know you're not going to press us because I got guys that can handle the rock. But literally, my point guard this year is one of the best passers I've ever coached. Like, and I've coached some really good kids. Like he's crazy good. He sees things that people just don't see. But I got to get him the ball. You're right. And the thing is, it's an easy sell. It's an easy sell to the other kids because they're going to be the ones that score.
Yeah, he's going to bring the ball to the floor and dish.
And dish it to you. Like, you're going to be like, he's going to have 23 assists. What are you talking about? Like, it's going to be good for you. The problem is when the other opponent, that's what I got to play with. So let me delve on this because I think what's got to happen is when you double or take away my point guard, you got to pay. I got to make you pay.
Yeah.
You got to pay. Like, and that's what I got to figure out. There's got to be. I'll get back to you on this one.
Okay, cool.
I need to do this for my team too. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So
I like this, and I know I think you got to go at 11:30.
I do.
This is my last one. Why is so? I emailed you probably back in July, and I think your assistant got back to me about your offense. I've also been able to. So in the last month, I did combine my read and react offense into an index card. So I got all our principles on there. I'm super excited about it. I mean,
it'll be so much better. It'll be. I'm telling you.
I've already mapped out my first 2 weeks of practice and been able to like kind of see how I'm going to implement it. Why is the dribble drive, in your opinion, best from the wing? What have you guys found with that? Because I know that's what your assistant sent me.
Yeah, because people will take. What happens is you just start passing and cutting, and you need to be able to attack. You need to be able to take it off the dribble.
Right.
And the read and react does that, but it doesn't really do that. It doesn't make it a point of emphasis. And that's where we found out when we ran it. First of all, we simplified all of Rick's. I love Rick. Trust me, I love Rick.
I know. Yeah.
We simplified all of them down to what we sent you to that small thing. And then all of a sudden we were running it great, but we weren't getting what we when teams make runs, they make runs because you're not getting easy shots and you're not getting to the rim. And they could take away both of those before we put the dribble in. And then when we put the dribble in, we were able to get to the rim. We were able to get fouled, get easy buckets, get free throws. So that's why we put it in.
But why is the dribble drive best from the wing, in your opinion? I think that's what was on that index card.
Why is it best? Because you have the most space there.
You do have the most space
there?
You
do. You do. When you're spaced out right, you have the most space there. Because in the middle of the court and the baseline, you don't. They can take spots away. It's the most space to be able to attack. That's why we found it effective.
Okay, that's really good. Yeah.
When you look at, again, it's been 2 years. I'll try to find some of our stuff running it from the wing. But when everyone's in their right spots, and again, the middle of the court, if you got like the guy, he can make space anywhere. But the average guys need the side because they're worried about that corner 3. They're worried about the skip. They're worried when it's on the wing. There's other worries for other players. On the top, they can take it away. On the baseline, they got a defender down there because they have the baseline. So it just gives them more space to be able to create, to be honest with you.
Okay, awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I like that term Rick uses of real estate, reading the real estate. Yeah.
It's fun. It's cutting to and that's what we try to do in our offense. We always tell them cut the open air, cut the open
draft drive. Yeah,
because that's what's open.
Yes.
And part of the problem, I got to go here in a second, but the part of the problem is they sometimes run it and don't look to score. You're going to find that when you run it initially, is they're running it great, and you look at it, and you go home and you watch practice, and it's like, man, but they're not looking to score. It's like, well, the whole point of this is for you guys to score. What are you doing? Like, that's why the dribble helps. And that's why on that wing and stuff, it helps because that's more, hate to say it, AAU summer. Let's just dribble attack. And
okay, sweet.
Okay.
That's really good.
All right. We'll talk. I'll send you that. I got you on the notes. I'll send you that. It'll be like a week and a half. When we do the Q&A, it won't be, we're just finishing it up this week. And then we're going to probably launch the following week. So I'll send you a link once we figure out when we're doing the Q&A.
Sounds good. And let me know what you decide about transition offense.
I will for sure. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.